That is the moon just going down now. And then if you look around, the hills are starting to light up now, which is nice because on the opposite side the sun is going to appear very shortly. That's where I camped, on that bit of clay there, and the sun is really lighting up those hills beautifully. It's lovely looking at them while I was packing up. Good morning! Welcome to day 4 of the Heysen Trail. Yesterday it was okay. It was not as spectacular as the day before, but trail wise I loved it a lot more. It was, apart from the first 3k, it was single track. It had really interesting single track. We went across a flat and then climbed up a hill and had amazing views from the top, and then it was a steep rocky descent, and then single track put us across to a valley at the base of the massive hills, and then along the massive hills, and it was mainly up on little spur lines, but up and down for creeks and lots of different terrain, the pine trees, the open, the shale. Yeah, really interesting. And then we're in the creek bed for most of the rest of it, apart from the last kilometre. Lots of creek bed travel. I had a beautiful campsite, beautiful views, zero condensation last night. I kept both 2 doors, one on each side open and one on each side closed. It was cool but not cold, and same thing now. I'm still long sleeve, but my fingers aren't freezing like yesterday. So today looks like it's going to be in creek beds for the first half of it. So I've got 7k to get to Mayo Hut, and then 14k to get to a major road, and most of that I think is creek bed, and after that we're away from creek beds, and then it's another, I think, 17k. So from Mayo Hut it's another 25k stretch without water. So it looks like I just have to get used to carrying large amounts of water. But yeah, looking forward to another beautiful day. It's a hill to start, but it's only a little short hill. Another chimney remnant. Only thing left. We've been on this track for well over a k, and now it's telling us to follow the track. Not sure what else I'd be following. We're on a reroute. Pretty cool to see these in the wild. Mum had pet cockatoos for a while. So it looks like we're going up through the gap between these 2 hills into the next valley. So we've come between the 2 hills and we're turning here. It's not a bad view. And we are, I can see the single track going down there, down to the river. It's a bit of a climb, but gives you a nice view rather than being down in the valley all the time. Woohoo! Another kangaroo. I think that's about 5 this morning alone. Oops, I thought that camper thing stopped at Red Range. Obviously not, but thankfully I didn't get shot. Right, it's a cute little style, and then we follow the fence. Hey, kangaroo and the joey. Yep, this is definitely a sign. I wonder how many people miss that, because you just assume you're on the track, and the sign was so far away. What do we got? Oh yeah, sign down there, and then there's another one over there. There's a sign, and walkers follow creek. Alright, this is the creek we're following. Extremely noisy. We've got galahs in one tree and cockatoo in the other. It's going to be quite tiring if this riverbed is like this for the next 5k. Quite challenging and quite tiring for long distances. White cockatoo. Whew, it's going to be a long day. We're going to be in stream beds for so long. Only leaving that stream. And marker. Yay! Nice to have a slightly easier bit of river. Not quite so rocky. It's still loose gravel. But it's better than the bigger stones that we've been traversing. And that small gravel didn't last long. We're up to the bigger gravel. It's still not as annoying as the big rocks, but still not easy walking. We're slightly up off the river for a little bit, enjoying solid ground under my feet. Looking at that signpost, I'm not continuing down here. That's weird. It's too early to be turning down the other river. Definitely turning. I just checked my map. That last kilometre went really quickly. Alright, let's see what this new river is like. I had a look at the river and it looked messy, but looks like we have a trail above the river. You see that riverbed wouldn't be easy walking. Instead, we're on this track, and while it is a bit overgrown, it's not too bad. Actually water. See the reflections of the rocks off the water. You can see the hut just there. This was the original hut, and this is the hut they reconstructed as close to the original as they could. It's got a water tank and dog kennel. Who knows? And then at the back is a toilet. This is Mayo Cottage, rebuilt in 1989, and it is cute. Look at that, it's got a fireplace, all the old historic things, and these neat boots. And then, table, bench for sleeping, sleeping down the bottom, and then more up top. So you can actually fit quite a few people in here. This is a lovely hut. Original one, 1899. Leaving the cute little Mayo hut and follow the creek to the main road. 14 kilometres that way. I thought something gone wrong with their carving, but that is actually an insect. Looks like a cricket. Don't know if it's still alive. Wow, it's got its legs really flat. Alright, on my way. New, not open yet. It's a pretty awful river system. But see a marker up there and a track up there, so it looks like we're going to go up above the river. It's only dried up relatively recently. Came all the way across Walker's Follow Creek. Try and go above the creek for a bit, might be a bit easier. Yeah, the flies are out early. It's only 9:30 and they're out in force already. First fence road crossing, and I put my pack through the middle here and then came through the middle myself. Much easier. Alright, I see a trail marker just up there. 3 kangaroos that way, and emus. Some parts of this creek bed aren't too bad. Oh, see a marker up there. If your foot goes in the mud, it then collects the stones and it makes your foot really heavy. It's a cool looking plant. The river is still awful walking, so I am staying just above it where the walking is a lot better. See those buildings just up there? It's Wallaco Station. You can book accommodation there. Yeah, that's the station across there. 8 emus. A new bar to try. Doesn't really have a strong flavour, but it's not horrible. It's definitely edible. It's not too sweet, which is nice. Different type of rock to get to walk on now. lost our lovely flat plains above, but I can see some tracks up there, so maybe that's where we're heading. There's so many emu. I'm probably at least 15 so far today, and kangaroos are well over 20. Lots of them around here. Still lots of wet bits. This is just awful. I'm so glad there's the ground above the river to walk in, because this would be tedious and slow. That is Wanaka Hill. It's 630 metres high, and basically we're following, well, this is the creek I'm following, but it curls around to the very edge of this range of hills, and at that very edge is the road, but it's still a long way off. 7 or 8k. Been crossing ravines at a frequent interval. This is a nice shallow one. There's been some that have been really steep to get down. Oop. You've got to be careful because there's dirt crumbles away as well, and then you got to find a way up the other side. And this has been, yeah, pretty, at least one every 500 metres. You can see the vehicles over there, but we've still got another 3k following this river along. Oh, the flies over my back. Yeah. I've got one cut and they just won't leave it alone. It's just a little weeny cut, but they love it. Still a little bit of moisture in the water. All the kangaroo prints down there. And we're continuing. Just above there is a faint track every now and again. Decided to jump back into the river a while. It was getting a bit awkward up there. Let's try the other side, see what that looks like. No, this looks lovely from a distance, but not comfortable. This is a bit more open. That side closed up very quickly, so back across. I haven't shown any new flowers because there haven't been any. This is the one I've seen the most today, but yep, very few flowers today. It has clouded over. The sun's still there, but it's definitely clouded over. So it's warm, but it's not that heat that was being generated when the sun was fully exposed. Right, continuing on, winding my way through these bushes. There's no set track, you just pick the route that looks the best and take it until it peters out, and then you find another route. Woohoo! On the track. Never thought I'd be glad to be on a track, but a little rest to be on the track. Has been fun going along beside the creek, but fairly tiring. Fire River, it was nice to know you, but just a little too long. Back with the Heysen Trail. Must have a look on a map and see where they go. I wonder if the Heysen Trail is to the Heysen like the Mundabiddi is to the Bibliman. Perfect log for lunch. The only problem is the flies. I'm going to have to try and eat and keep my head net on. Tuck the food underneath. It was a nice lunch. I'm going to say my head net is rapidly becoming one of my most favourite things. It's just saves so much annoyance. It is brilliant. Danger! High pressure buried oil pipeline nearby. Do not dig! No cat holes there. Junkyard in there. Gate is found. Alright. What I haven't mentioned is anytime I'm touching anything like a gate, a style, the hut book pens, I sanitize my hands, because I know I'm good with hygiene, but other hikers may not be. So Hawker is 6 kilometers in that direction, so pretty much you need to get a lift, and it probably averages 1 car every 5 minutes. That is 2 at the moment. I am heading across to there, and we're going to border the Yopala Indigenous Protected Land, and basically we're walking to that gap over there, and then we're walking along that ridge line until the next gap, and then we go off on the far side. That's a long straight. It's 11 kilometers from here to the next campground. Way down there is the road, and I had to film this excitement. We actually get to change direction very slightly at a very slight angle. We go in a different direction and following the fence line for another few K. Hey, another new flower. Not sure if it's meant to have 3 petals or one's come off. Just curious now. It's like an old water tank. I'm not sure if this is a stile that we cross or if it's just a seat. Must just be a seat. There's no way you can cross on that. So I'm just going to keep going and assume we stay on this side. Judging by those legs, it's a kangaroo skeleton. What's interesting is looking at the feet. See, they've got pads at the toe and then pads there as well. These neat plants. Right. Still going in a straight line, still on the fence line. Hill's starting to look closer. It's clearly a stile to go over. Oh, getting close. I'm looking forward to the hill because it's a break from following the fence line in a straight line. Ooh, we get to go on the other side of the fence. A long way. I think the tree line is probably the river I was on. Long way off. Right, now it gets interesting. Now we start climbing up onto the top of the hill. I've been saying stay with the fence, and now we actually get to go away from the fence. Here you go, something new. And we are going up the hill, and it's a pretty gentle gradient. It's a rocky track, but pretty gentle, and it actually doesn't look like it's that far. Reptile lizards always give me a fright because they always seem to be either in the middle of the track or hissing at me from the side of the track. They're definitely not as colourful as the ones in Western Australia, but they're still pretty cute. And feet. Trail marking has been excellent. You can always see the next one from where the last one is. I hope we're crossing over to that ridge line because they'll have good views up there. We've dropped down and now we're about to climb the one I pointed out. And the climb starts heading up there, the rock highway. Alright, still heading up the rocks. We'll get a good view once I get to the top over this side, so just sort of do one this side. Oh, and look at that. Very hard keeping it in sight. And back to where I was. Yeah, so that big escarpment, and then you can see fence line I came along, and then across that way. That big hill came around the side of that one, and those hills were where I was on the other side yesterday. Gorgeous. I like being up high. I don't mind climbing, I just like being up high. So we came down off there, down into here, and now we are following up, and this takes us up to that high point. Something different. not scared of heights. Woo! It's windy. Nearly at the high point. This is really fun. Amazing up here, absolutely amazing. Oh, still going, not the highest point yet. Starting to get narrower on top. It's quite cool because we're actually up here for quite a while. I think it's at least 1 kilometre up on this rock stuff. I mean, it's not fast travel, but it's fun and it's beautiful. So very grateful I'm doing this on a clear day so I get to see all of the views and so that the rocks aren't slippery. And the wind is a little bit strong, but thankfully the gusts are not too bad. I haven't felt like it's going to blow me over yet, which is just as well, considering I don't have a lot of space to trip on either side. Woohoo! Finally captured the lizard. They've been too fast, but that one's quite far away, and I found something to rest the camera on. Look at that. Oh, these flies are annoying. Took the net off because it's too windy. Good progress. And that is the town of Walker. Nearly at the end. Then it's a downhill, which I am not looking forward to quite as much as the uphill. I'm still hoping we'll get a better view further ahead. We're still on the ridge, but we're off the bulk of the rocky parts, so just going through the trees and over the occasional rock pile. On the whole, the markers are alright. A couple of times I just winged it and eventually found them again, but seen a goat. Where am I going? That way? I think that way. Yep, seen one little goat, which means there are probably more that I didn't see. Oh. This is giving you a bit of an idea of the scramble through, even though it's not on rocks. This might be dropping down off the ridge. Don't you love a sign that's pointing basically down the cliff? Yep, it's down the cliff. Okay, sign there, coming down. That's where it wanted you to go down, but I've come across just a little bit more and I've got these stone steps which make it a bit easier to get down. Yep, we're not stuffing around, we're dropping quickly. After that steep drop, we're on the flat for a bit. Here's a bit of a view. We will start dropping down very steeply because there's no hill left. The more panorama, Hawker's just over that way. We're dropping down to the saddle between these two hills. I can see a car park down there. And then we head that way. Oop. Yellow-footed rock wallaby area. I have been looking, but fortunately I'm too noisy clambering over the rocks. It's also the wrong time of day. Dusk and dawn is when they are most active. So unfortunately, I don't get to see them. What's that sign? Heysen Trail only. Basically, be experienced, don't be scared of heights, don't be scared of losing the trail, and don't be scared of rough, steep terrain. And have fun, because it was fun. Right. There's the last of the panorama out that way. Go, drop down to the hill and then follow this road to the end of the hill, and then it is a straight line across to that hill there, and the campsite is in the halfway across it. Then tomorrow we're heading along the bottom of those hills. Yay! Alright, hoop. This is where the normal people are allowed to be. So from the car park they can walk up to here to see the beautiful view. 37 kilometres, Philippine pound. Sydney, Sydney that way, 1609 kilometres. It's funny some of the things that they have got on here. So they've got the township hospital, and then they've got a hotel. Adelaide, 385 kilometres. Funny. I've got longer than 385 kilometres to get to Adelaide. Mount Elm, that's where I'm heading tomorrow. Oh, and Perth, 2,479 that way. There's Hawker. Nice safety rail. Right, done. Oh yuck, I hate these when you're wearing a pack. You have to time it right. Oh yep, that's fine for a pack. So, at the car park. Surprisingly, my knees are feeling okay. With all of that jumping up and down the rocks and stuff, it's yeah, pretty good. All the things you can see if you're out for a drive. Okay, private road, except for us. We get to go this way. The shelter is in 2.2 kilometres. So if you hike in the Heysen Trail, allow a lot of time to go over that section. Obviously it's very technical, steep, rocky, so you're going to be slow taking your time, but also the views are just so fantastic, you're going to be stopping and looking all the time. So definitely allow a lot of time. From when you start climbing to the car park here, it's about 5.5 kilometres, and that took me an hour 50 to do. So yeah, don't expect a fast speed going through there. And off the road and onto single trail. No vehicle access for the next 25 kilometres. It's pretty, there's a few patches of these. I hope they're not a weed as well. They're interesting that they've got both blue and white ones. Oh, nice single trail. It's heading very slightly downhill, which is nice at this time of day. In the last 5 minutes I've seen 3 different groups of kangaroo. One was just a pair and the other 2 groups had 3 in them. Definitely lots of kangaroo around here. It's a bit hard to follow the fence when there's a big canyon in the way. Beautiful hills in front. Those are the ones I'm going to walk along the base of them. But, yeah, little canyon here. Have to get to the other side somehow. One thing I'm very careful about these is where it's given way there. I always make sure I give it quite a lot of room in case it's still weak underneath. That one I can actually see it's not undercut, but some of them have been. So, yeah, plenty of room back over the fence. And where am I going? Not too far from the camp now. Another stile and another fence. Exciting, turning the fence. Whoa. This is it. This is Mount Elm School campsite. Yeah, okay. So I will fill up with water and continue on. That was the toilet. That white thing is the toilet sitting there. And this is how this works basically. Just collects off the roof and collects down into the water thing. So a little dusty, but otherwise it's rainwater. Okay, filled up and on my way. I'm assuming the sign on this side of the stile means this is the side of the fence I'm on. And that water, it tasted weird. I always do a quick taste test with the water and that just tasted weird, so I have filtered it. I haven't been filtering. I know they have a sign on them saying treat the water, but most of the time pure rainwater, a little bit of dust and a little bit of leaves mixed in is fine for me. My stomach is used to quite a few different bugs, but yeah, that just tasted weird, so that's why I decided to filter it. It is 16 kilometres to the next campsite, so I did a full load of water because I'll be camping in between. Probably, I'm feeling pretty good, but I'll probably walk for maybe an hour, if that. I think at around 3/4 of an hour, at around 6, I'll start looking for a campsite and be very seriously looking by 6:15, 6:30. It's a cute little stile. Oh. It's a change from the fence line. Walkers follow track. Alright, now we're back to following the fence. That last stretch from Mayo Hut to Mount Elm School Campsite was 24k and I had 3 litres of water and I used all but about 200 ml. So while the sun has been covered up all day, it's still really warm. The sun trying to shine through, just make it out. So we've hit the foothills and now we head along the foothills for 15 kilometres. Leaving the fence and now going along the side of the hill, as I said, for 15 kilometres. This is going to be a challenging 15k if it's all going to be rocky like this. And we're following a fence. Fence may not be upright. This is the fence we're following. Finding a camp spot's going to be an issue. If we're walking 500 metres that way, it would be almost flat. But because we're following this fence line, it is up and down, up and down, up and down. Ooh, that's a workout. It's a little earlier than I planned on stopping, but I did say at 6 I would start to look out, and I don't think I'm going to get any better than in there, given this horrible rocky terrain we're on. So, I am going to set up here. Here's my night location tonight. Because it's quite windy, I've got the back really tightened down, almost down to ground level, just to block some of the wind. And then here's a little tour. So I've just cooked dinner, and it's my dinner waiting. I keep my water there, always outside the tent. And then in the tent at the top is things I want to access, so my snack food, my charger, my torch, toilet paper, spoon, and it's my mattress, nice thick mattress. And then at the back is things I don't use, so my wet weather kit, my warm clothing, and my repair kit, first aid kit. And at the back, my back porch I call it, is my pack and my socks to air out. So that is my tent.